50% off our next 10-week challenge beginning September 14th. That's 10 weeks of fun group fitness classes and individualized coaching for half off. And at the end of the 10 weeks, someone's walking away with $1,000 for the best transformation. Come check it out. What do you have to lose? Click on the banner at theticketfm.com to learn more. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill or 70th and Vine. And check us out online at fxblincoln.com.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Underground, who has been serving local contractors and utility contractors all across the state since 1997. When you see the black and white trucks, you know the baddest dudes in the business have arrived. Bauer is currently looking for equipment operators, laborers, diesel mechanics, and aerial linemen. Join the brotherhood built on hard work, authentic people, and pedigree of success. Bauer, a family-friendly company who reminds you, go Big Red!
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com. Follow the Huskers to the City of Angels when Nebraska plays at USC in November. Book your official Nebraska alumni travel package at huskerfantravel.com. Choose from 2 or 3 night options that include a downtown LA hotel, exclusive welcome event, game day transportation, and the official Husker Huddle pregame party. Add on game tickets for an optional upgrade. Transportation to and from LA not included. Join the official Nebraska alumni trip to see the Huskers play at USC. Spots are limited, so book your trip now at huskerfantravel.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Truck Month is back. We have absolutely gigantic savings right now at Koppel. They are offering $12,500 off on select new pickups. That is not a mistake. You heard right. $12,500 off list price right now on select new pickups. Those discounted units, though, will not last long. These are all manager specials. You have to come in now, so hurry in down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G356093 must trade.
Live from the heart of Lincoln, America, welcome to Ticket Weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome into Off the Field with Kendall Lanier on 93.7 The Ticket. You can join through Facebook, YouTube, X, and Allo Cable 9, channel 961. You can text in at 402-464-5685. Thank you for joining us today. I'm Kendall Lanier, and joining me today is Emma Spence, senior at Nebraska, a gymnast. So excited to have you. How are you?
I'm good. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Yes. Okay, so tell me, we have so much to get into. I mean, you're from Canada and just all of that, but how did you get into gymnastics originally?
So this is a funny story. I have 2 younger sisters. And my middle sister started gymnastics first out of the 3 of us. Eventually, we all ended up doing it together. But she started because she went to a gymnastics birthday party and then came home and she really loved it. My parents got her put in gymnastics and she was doing cartwheels and rolls and all these little flips around the house. And the youngest sister and I really wanted to be able to do that too, which is why we ended up getting into it too, because we were kind of jealous of her being able to do the little flips and we couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So does she still do gymnastics?
Both of them are retired now, but we did gymnastics together for probably like 5 to 7 years, the 3 of us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how did you choose Nebraska to do gymnastics at?
Basically, I was recruited by the coaches. At the time, I wasn't even sure if I was going to be doing NCAA, so I didn't reach out to other coaches or other teams or schools or anything at all because, I mean, for the longest time, I didn't know if I was going to do it. But the Nebraska coaches were very friendly, very welcoming. They explained how the process worked. I was very clear about how I didn't know how it worked, and I still wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not. And they were very helpful. They explained how it worked. And then I made the decision to come here basically based off of that. At the time, I wasn't even able to visit because it was COVID. So had some Zoom calls, Zoom FaceTime with the girls, and FaceTime tours to get to see campus and everything. And it seemed really great. So I decided to come here.
Wow. And so you're a senior now. What has it been like these past 3 years?
I'd say every year has been similar, but also different. I kind of learned different things throughout all those different years. Freshman year, I never even attended a gymnastics or NCAA gymnastics competition until I was literally in one.
Yeah.
So I didn't really know how that worked. So I'd say freshman year was the biggest learning lesson, figuring out just the format, the warm ups, just everything on how the NCAA meets, and even just like how Big Ten championships work and regionals work. Like I just had no idea. I just kind of went in every competition trying my best, not really sure what would
Right.
happen if I do good or bad, just giving it my all.
Mhm.
And then I started figuring out how it worked, getting the hang of it for the last couple of years. And yeah, I loved it. It's super fun. I love competing with a team. Having other girls by my side all working towards the same goal is really special, especially our celebrations at the end of our routines. I don't know if you've seen it,
Yes.
but the
I
jumping
love
up and
those.
down, the hugs, the high fives, everything like that is super fun. And that's not something I was used to until I got here.
Mhm.
So yeah, I love it.
Yeah. I got to go to a couple meets last year. I mean, the energy was so great. But how is that different than in Canada? Like you said, you had never experienced that before.
Mhm.
What was the difference?
I think the biggest difference is that that's what you do in NCAA. Like it's just a lot more fun, relaxed, and just the team is a big part of it.
Mhm.
While elite gymnastics is more individual based, people are a lot more serious and strict, and the coaches aren't the biggest fan of us causing a scene. I would say,
Mhm.
I don't know, like our little celebrations, they would not like that, and
Yeah.
it's just not the same vibe. So I grew up in a space where I wasn't able to celebrate. And if I had a good routine, it was just serious face salute, walk off, pretend like that is exactly what you
Yeah.
meant to do. Like,
Mhm.
because I guess, I don't know, they would say, like, if you celebrate or something, it looks like you were surprised that it was good. And you're supposed to pretend that everything was
Right.
good and it was meant to be like that. So
Yeah.
it was just very different. And even the first couple NCAA meets, like, I still wasn't really celebrating like that. Like, I would like smile and my teammates were like, come on, get into it. And I was
Yeah.
like, I don't know how. But yeah, eventually figured it out. And now like when you land, it's just like whatever you feel, you just show it and it's
Mhm.
so much fun.
Yeah. Wow. So what made you want to stay in a sport like that where like maybe to other people it's like very intimidating and like in a serious environment like that is very different than other sports. So what kept you coming back?
I think I just love doing it. There are many different aspects of it. You never really get bored of it, or I mean, you can kind of get bored, but like I never really did because
Mhm.
we do have 4 events. So
Right.
there's a lot of options and variety during practice. There's like the warm up, the conditioning, and then you go through the events. Um, and that part's fun. And every routine is or every event is kind of different too. So always doing something different. There's always more skills or new skills to learn. So I was just pushing myself, seeing how far I could go. And I loved the competition side of it, like the sparkly leotards and getting all ready for those competitions and showing off your routines. And I love dancing on floor, like those that part of the
Mm.
competition. My floor routine is my favorite to compete. Just dancing around in a sparkling leotard is
Yeah.
I love it. So there's a lot of parts of it that I really loved, and the friends and the connections that I made with people, and being able to travel to other countries, other provinces, and now other states has been really exciting too.
Yeah. And so what has the competition been like in the Big Ten? I know you guys had a really good season last year, but just kind of what it has it been like competing against other schools here?
It's been cool. I like once again, I didn't really know how it worked when I got into it, but I don't know. I always thought it was going to be like really competitive and the people like don't interact or talk to each other, but the people are actually really friendly with each other in the Big Ten too. Like, yeah, we're against each other and it's competitive, but at the same time, we're like the little Big Ten family. So
Yeah.
after the competitions, we always like, I mean, if you know the girls, you talk to them. If not, you just congratulate them and
Mhm.
some small talk. So that part's really fun because I didn't see that coming. Because once again, in elite gymnastics is not as like friendly and like kind of open like that.
Right.
But after a competition with a Big Ten school, you congratulate each other, usually have some small talk.
Mhm.
Um, and I feel like we kind of push each other to get better in the conference.
Mhm.
We're kind of seen as one of the conferences that isn't as strong gymnastically, if that's a word, um, compared to like the SEC, for
Mhm.
example, or like all those other schools, but or conferences. But I do think that the Big Ten gymnastics is really good and we get underestimated a lot. But over the last couple years, we've proven that we are a conference that can challenge other conferences. And now having other schools being brought into the Big Ten is probably going to be a game changer
Yeah.
for us too. A school like UCLA, for example,
Yeah.
is really high ranked in the gymnastics world. So hopefully people start to view the Big Ten as like a competitor and just a strong conference overall in the gymnastics lens of it.
Yeah. And how do you think the rest of your Nebraska gymnastics team, what are you guys kind of known for? How do you guys stand out in the Big Ten? What's your culture around your team?
I think one thing is like the supportive our supportive team. There were some tweets, I think it was last year or 2 years ago, how we just cheer on other teams, and some people were really surprised about that. We were at a quad meet, and we were the first team that was done the competition, so we stood off to the side and we cheered for our opposing teams. Um, we're just kind of known to do stuff like that, very friendly, caring, but I've heard a lot of comments about our floor routines being really fun, really energetic, get the crowd involved. Um, and our bars were really good last year. I was
Yeah.
really, really proud of our bar squad. Um, when we get those landings going, Big Tens last year, we had like 5 or 6 stuck landings back to back. We put on
Wow.
a really good show on bars. Yeah, that's what I'd say
Yeah.
we're known for.
So you mentioned floor. How do you come up with the floor routine? Like, what does that look like?
So we have a choreographer. Well, okay, so our choreographer is also one of our coaches.
Mhm.
But she choreographs our whole routine for us. I just got a new one probably 2-3 weeks ago now. And our coach Molly is the one that creates and choreographs the whole routine. So we kind of go in. It took probably 3 hours, maybe a little bit more than that, but she taught me
Wow.
the whole routine. We were making it up as we were going, making it um to whatever would like look nicest on my body when I was doing the movements, and we choose whatever poses or dance moves to do based off that. And it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of dancing to learn,
Yeah.
but it is really fun. And I love my new floor routine. She did such a good job, and she's working on doing a lot of the other girls' dance routines too.
So is floor like a place for you really to show your personality, you'd say?
I'd say so because usually you get to pick your own music too, something that I don't know, you just like or you feel like represents you well. And then the dance is kind of suited for, well, the music and your personality as well. So
Okay.
it's the most custom to you, I would
Mhm.
say. Um, and then you have the opportunity to dance, show it off. Mm, Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Be you.
Okay. Well, we are just getting started with Emma. We'll be right back after the break.
If you're a homeowner or a business owner, you have a lot of projects, and no one has an unlimited budget or time. Sunbelt Rentals makes all jobs less stressful with no need to purchase large equipment or hire a crew. You can do it yourself with rentals and everything from aerators and power rakes for spring yard work to stump grinders, concrete mixers, tile saws, and more. Check out their inventory in Lincoln, north of Cornhusker Highway on 56th Street, or online at sunbeltrentals.com. Follow the Huskers to the City of Angels when Nebraska plays at USC in November. Book your official Nebraska alumni travel package at huskerfantravel.com. Choose from 2 or 3 night options that include a downtown LA hotel, exclusive welcome event, game day transportation, and the official Husker Huddle pregame party. Add on game tickets for an optional upgrade. Transportation to and from LA not included. Join the official Nebraska alumni trip to see the Huskers play at USC. Spots are limited, so book your trip now at huskerfantravel.com.
Hi, Sean Callahan here for Koppel Chevrolet GMC, and Truck Month is back. We have absolutely gigantic savings right now at Koppel. They are offering $12,500 off on select new pickups. That is not a mistake. You heard right. $12,500 off list price right now on select new pickups. Those discounted units, though, will not last long. These are all manager specials. You have to come in now, so hurry in down 144th Street or shop online at koppelcars.com. You'll be glad you did. Stock number G356093 must trade.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their basketball game. 75% of parents or guardians report current alcohol use. Drinking alcohol can cause harm to children and loved ones. By drinking less, your child will be excited to see you at their basketball game. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA. Rain, snow, or shine, John Henry's is here to keep your home's plumbing systems working properly no matter what kind of weather Nebraska throws at us. From unclogging toilets and drains to installing new water heaters and water treatment systems, John Henry's is your plumbing expert in the Lincoln and Omaha communities. Visit us at calljh.com or call
John Henry's.
435-5555. John Henry's Plumbing, Heating and Air.
and electrical.
For 15 years, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping has been helping Lincoln become healthier, happier, and more fit through our proven combination of kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching. And to celebrate 15 years of success, we're offering you 50% off our next 10-week challenge beginning September 14th. That's 10 weeks of fun group fitness classes and individualized coaching for half off. And at the end of the 10 weeks, someone's walking away with $1,000 for the best transformation. Come check it out. What do you have to lose? Click on the banner at theticketfm.com to learn more. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill or 70th and Vine. And check us out online at fxblincoln.com.
It's the greatest time of the year again. Kickoff is here and football is officially back. Over 1 million fans across 33 states got in the game last year by making picks on Underdog, and this year you can too. Making picks on Underdog is straightforward and signing up is even easier. Just head over to Underdog's simple-to-use mobile app or UnderdogFantasy.com and sign up with promo code EARLY, and Underdog will give you a free pick to use on your first cash pick'em entry, plus up to $1,000 in bonus cash when you deposit. That's Underdog Fantasy, promo code EARLY to claim your new customer special of a free pick and your deposit offer. Must be 19 plus in Nebraska and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. Concerned with your play? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.ncpgambling.org.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Looking for a place to relax and unwind after a busy day? Cigars Lounge at 8th and Q in the Haymarket is the perfect place to enjoy good company, a cocktail, and of course a cigar. Visit Cigars Lounge on Tuesdays for Top Shelf Tuesday and enjoy 50% off select spirits. Cigars Lounge offers Perdomo, San Cristobal, Rock Patel, and more of the top stogie brands that you know and love. But that's not all. If you mention this ad between noon and 5 p.m., you'll receive 15% off your entire tab just by mentioning the ticket. Check out Cigars Lounge today at 8th and Q in the Haymarket.
For 15 years, Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping has been helping Lincoln become healthier, happier, and more fit through our proven combination of kickboxing, strength training, and nutrition coaching. And to celebrate 15 years of success, we're offering you 50% off our next 10-week challenge beginning September 14th. That's 10 weeks of fun group fitness classes and individualized coaching for half off. And at the end of the 10 weeks, someone's walking away with $1,000 for the best transformation. Come check it out. What do you have to lose? Click on the banner at theticketfm.com to learn more. Farrell's Extreme Body Shaping at 40th and Yankee Hill or 70th and Vine. And check us out online at fxblincoln.com.
Back to The Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Off the Field. I'm Kendall Lanier with Emma Spence from Nebraska Gymnastics. So we talked a lot about college gymnastics. Now I want to get into the elite side of things. You were an alternate for the Canadian Olympic team twice. Tell me about that experience. How did you get there? What was it like?
Yeah, so the first time I went through the whole Olympic trials cycle was during COVID. Well, or it didn't start during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the 2020 Olympic cycle. I was actually training for Olympic trials. That those competitions started probably like January, February. I remember I was in Australia in February, and then I got back a week later. I went to Montreal, where our base national team camp is.
Okay.
And as we were flying home from that camp is when we landed, we turned on our phones and it said like school was canceled for 2 weeks. Like everything about COVID was just starting right then.
Yeah.
And I had a couple competitions under my belt already that year. I was feeling pretty confident on how the year was going to go if it was a regular season leading up to Olympic trials. And we had that 2-week shutdown for COVID for school. And then, we got shut down for a lot longer after that. Eventually, we weren't allowed to train for a while because of COVID. The Olympics got canceled. At one point, we didn't know if they were even going to reschedule them, which is kind of stressful based on the situation that all of us athletes were in when we were training kind of our whole lives for this.
Right.
And then all of a sudden got that taken away. It's like, okay, then what are we doing?
Yeah.
That was really interesting because we weren't sure if the Olympics were going to be postponed or not. So it's like, okay, we're going to try to train at home, do some at home workouts, but we don't even know if there was a point for it because we didn't even know if there was going to be the Olympics. So that part was really weird. The at home workouts. After that, I don't know, a couple months after, at some point, they announced that they were rescheduled to the next year. So that was a little bit more motivating during that period, and eventually started being allowed to train a couple months later once things started to open up. And then that preparation for the Olympics was really weird, or the Olympic trials, because things were still shut down. There were only a couple athletes allowed to train in the only way you were allowed to train was if you were in contention for the Olympics in Canada. That was the rule. Only athletes that were possibly going to be selected. So I was only training with 3 girls for this whole season leading up to that. And our Olympic trials were actually held over Zoom, which was also really weird.
Gosh.
Yeah. So
That's crazy.
we had to we had to submit all these videos. We had the judges watching us over Zoom, and then they judged the videos or something like that. It was really weird. But our Olympic trials and our pre-Olympic competitions were not in person still because of COVID.
Yeah.
So that was just all really weird. And then I eventually was named an alternate, non-traveling alternate, which at the time was cool. I didn't feel like my chances of making the team were that great. I just wanted to see how far I could go. On the team would have been amazing. I was very happy with the alternate position though that year.
Yeah.
And then I ended up coming to NCAA in that fall. And then last year this year, last year I made the decision to try again.
Okay.
I wasn't sure 100% if I was going to try again for the Olympics, but after last year and after probably more the 2022 World Championships when Canada qualified a team to the Olympics, it was okay, I think I'm actually going to try. And then after season last year, I was like, okay, I'm going to lock in and try for this. And that was interesting because I was doing NCAA at the same time.
Yeah.
A lot of the Canadian girls deferred leading up to it. I was the only girl on the Canadian team that did not defer NCAA to do just the elite side of it.
Okay.
I wanted to do both. I felt and I know that was the best decision for me, best environment for me to be in with my team, with my coaches here. I had a really good support system here, and I didn't want to change that right before going to try for the Olympics. So I stuck to what I knew. I competed in the NCAA season, and then once the season was done, about 2 weeks later, I went to Italy for a competition. Then I went to Paris for a camp, came back for a couple weeks. Then I went to Colombia for a competition, came back, and then Olympic trials a week or 2 later. So it was very busy because I competed 12, 13 times during the NCAA season.
Yeah.
And then went right into those international competitions, right into Olympic trials. So it was busy, but at the same time, I tried to see that as an advantage because I had so many competitions under my belt that year.
Right.
A lot of the girls didn't do that, or they only did 2 or 3 competitions that whole season. And I had I was at 15 at that point, 15, 16 competitions going into Olympic trials. So I tried to use that as motivation and just reassuring myself that I'm ready for this. I've competed so much this year because the staff, I would say, they didn't want me to do NCAA at the same time. They kind of recommended that people don't, but I still decided to do it because I knew that was best for me. So a lot of the other girls and people saw it as a bad thing that I was doing both, but I kept reassuring myself no, this is what's best for me. I know this is what's best for me, and I was trying to use it as a positive, and that did really help me because when things got stressful and I was under all this pressure, I was able to rely on all that experience that I had during the year and still perform well at the competitions that I was going to for elite. Except this year again, I was also Olympic alternate. That was tough because I feel my chances were a lot better this Olympic cycle than the last cycle. And I felt pretty ready going into it. And then I had all the team camps after I was named the alternate. We had a couple training camps with the Olympic team, and I was still doing really well, doing really good routines. I had my personal best scores at the training camp after Olympic trials with the whole team. I beat some of the girls that were on the team, and that was tough.
Yeah.
Very tough position to be in.
Right.
But, it's character building.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, so how is elite different than um, NCAA? Like,
Mhm.
what does it require? Yeah.
I would say there's a lot more competitions than NCAA. Usually, you only compete in elite like I don't know 5, 6 times throughout the whole year,
Mhm.
like a whole calendar year. In NCAA, you compete like 12 times, 12, 13 times from like January to April. So
Yeah.
it's a lot more condensed. You have to build that endurance and that strength to be able to compete week after week.
Right.
In elite gymnastics, usually competitions are spread out at least a couple weeks or months in between each meet.
Mhm.
So that was a big adjustment. There's that. There's like the celebrations and just the atmosphere at a
Right.
gymnastics competition. The fans, the cheering, the celebrations, all that is very different. Elite gymnastics has a lot like harder skills. I'd say like
Okay.
higher difficulty.
Mhm.
Elite is like how many skills can you fit in a routine? How hard can you make the routine that you're doing while also trying to make it like as good as it can be? But the execution isn't as important
Yeah.
because you have like the difficulty to back it up. But
Mm.
in NCAA gymnastics, every person only starts out of a 10. So you can't start higher than 10. So you do your routine that starts out of a 10 and you're scored out of a 10. You can't earn bonus to get over 10. So you really have to do it the best of your abilities to be able to score as close as you can to that 10. So every
Yeah.
skill you do, every routine you do, you are striving for perfection. And in the elite side, you can kind of just chuck some hard skills.
Yeah.
If you land it, you land it. If you don't,
Right.
you can still get a higher score because of the difficulty, but you
Mm.
can't really hide that with the NCAA part.
Okay. Yeah. Wow. So I want to talk about the mental side of gymnastics. I mean, even in your situation, just training so hard for so many different things and becoming an alternate on the team, I'm sure that required, just a lot of character building, like you said. I mean, how do you stay like mentally calm in a sport that's so demanding as gymnastics?
Honestly, it's taken a lot of time to figure this out, and I don't even know if I've mastered it yet.
Mhm.
What I find has helped me over the last couple years is when I'm doing gymnastics or when I'm in the gym to think about gymnastics. But when I'm not in the gym or I'm not in a gymnastics setting, if I'm at home relaxing, whatever else I'm doing, I try not to think about it too much, or else I get burnt out because I'm constantly thinking about it. It's hard not to.
Yeah.
Like I definitely do think about it still, but like I
Mhm.
try not to let it consume me.
Right.
Um, at the same time, I also try to find hobbies or things that I do that I like to do that I can do aside. So, like lately, I've been making my own dinners at the end of the day. Like we still have training table provided for us, but for me, it's really helpful when I can just get home after a long day, unwind, make myself dinner,
Yeah.
eat it, and just like I don't know, a little distraction from everything else going
Mhm.
on. So I'm trying to find little things. I like going on walks, listening to music, hanging out with my friends. I try my best to have a good sleep schedule. It
Yeah.
really depends on the day on that one.
Mhm.
So it's kind of playing around, trying to figure out what works, and it depends on what part of season I'm in, what happened during the week. Like
Yeah.
it's very hit and miss. But oh, also sports psych. I work with sports
Okay.
psych a lot. I have since I was probably 12, 13 years old,
Mm.
even back home.
Yeah.
Just helping with the mental side of it, keeping me locked in when I need to be, and understanding if I get worked up or nervous about something, how to handle that, why it's happening, all that kind of stuff has been helpful too. And just talking about what I'm worried about or nervous about heading into big competitions,
Yeah.
planning for ways to avoid it. Like one thing, I'm actually really scared to fly,
Mhm.
and that's hard when I'm flying all the time.
Yeah.
So like that's something that I've had to work with them for a lot. So it's
Mhm.
not always gymnastics related, but
Right.
just the competitions or whatever in itself.
Yeah. So something that like shook the world in 2021 with Simone Biles' whole twisties thing and that
Hmm.
side of mental health. What was your like perspective on that? Like, how do you is that something you've ever experienced? And like, how do you think that helps the gymnastics world with mental health?
Definitely. I think a lot of gymnasts that saw that happen whether they were there or at home watching the Olympics, was like, I understand what you're going through. It's something that's very hard to explain to someone that's never done it. And sometimes even your coaches to understand. Like, it's like a mental block, but like, it's like just not knowing where you are in the air and then being too scared to go for it in case you get lost or in case you hurt yourself because you don't know where you are. And it's like that lack of like body awareness. It's really hard to explain.
Yeah.
But it's just like not knowing where you are in the air, and it's so scary, especially because our skills and the things we do are really scary and sometimes dangerous. So for her going for that skill she was going for, if you don't know where you are in the air, you don't feel comfortable doing that. That was definitely the best call because you could get really hurt doing that. And I think it normalized that there's that whole side of it that people don't realize. Like, I don't know, whenever someone asks me about gymnastics, I'm like, that's so cool, like watching you do all those flips, but it's just like, it's very mentally challenging. And I think she put things in perspective for non-athletes, but also kind of normalized it and made gymnasts that are going through the same thing feel better about it and know that like they're not alone in that.
Yeah.
And then hopefully, which I think, but just helped other people like sympathize with it, and especially just mental health overall. Like, make sure you prioritize your mental health, your safety, take care of yourself, find ways to heal and take care of yourself before putting yourself in another situation like that.
Yeah.
And in gymnastics, it's not always been a sport that's like that or accepted of that. So I think that was a big game changer, and it was really cool. It was unfortunate that that did happen at that time, but it was very cool to see how she handled that, because she easily could have tried, but she could have also really hurt herself.
Right.
So being able to put herself first, prioritize that, and take care of herself was really cool to see.
Yeah, I definitely agree. We'll have more with Emma right after the break.
I'm Karen Carr. I've been a realtor for 31 years. When I made a company change 12 years ago, I chose Lincoln First Realty, now NP Dodge. It's the oldest independently owned realty company in the country. Since becoming NP Dodge, we've continued our tradition of community involvement. Our management and staff are always available to offer support in marketing, technology, social media, and educational opportunities.
Expand your career with NP Dodge. Call Eric at 402-434-2222.
There's no better way to spark a child's imagination than to get lost in the adventure of a good book. I'm Jenny Benson, president of NSEA. Working together, parents and teachers can help every child succeed. You can help by reading to your child and let your child read to you. Encourage reading in your home and make it a priority. Make reading fun and a time that you and your child look forward to spending together.
Sponsored by the Nebraska State Education Association, aired by the Nebraska Broadcasters Association on this station.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
Be a memory for your grandchildren. Among Nebraska adults age 65 or older, 47% report current alcohol use. Drinking too much can cause harm to children, family members, and loved ones. By drinking less, you will still be around for your grandchildren. If you or a loved one is looking for help, find a treatment facility near you at findtreatment.gov. For immediate support, call, text, or chat 988.
Brought to you by Nebraska DHHS in partnership with SAMHSA.
1 in 3 adults has prediabetes. 1 in 3. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. That's doihaveprediabetes.org.
Wait, did they just say 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes? That's 33.33333% of adults. That means it could be me, my boss, or my boss's boss, or me, my favorite sister, or my other sister. That's 7 members of my 21-person romantic book club. Wait, the 1 in 3 could be me, my karaoke partner Carol, or my karaoke enemy Jeff. I'm going to take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org.
Brought to you by the Ad Council and its Prediabetes Awareness Partners.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Hey, it's me, your cell phone. We need to talk about something. Something serious. I know you love me. I know you like using me wherever you are, but I feel like this isn't working out when you're driving. I know you may think that it's possible to focus both on me and the road, but I just don't feel the same way. I think we should spend time away from each other when you're driving. It's for the best.
Visit StopTextStopWrecks.org. A message brought to you by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, Project Yellow Light, and the Ad Council.
NEPCO is hiring CDL drivers for Ready Mixed Concrete, Husker Concrete, and Beatrice Concrete. NEPCO offers great pay, medical and retirement benefits, paid time off, and they pay for CDL training. Apply today and start your new career with a $2,500 hiring bonus. From NEPCO's beginning in 1908, it's the employees that have formed the company's solid foundation. Start your career today. Visit nebcoinc.com. That's NEBCOINC.com.
Ready to score big with your projects? Look no further than Edward Stone, the MVP of natural stone for over 2 decades. Edward Stone is cranking out over 30,000 square feet every week and offers a winning lineup of over 70 quality natural veneer stone selections. Their unbeatable variety and experienced team will ensure your project is a success, whether it's a home renovation or a commercial build. And hey, they're not just about stone. They've got an all-star lineup of fireplaces, cast stone, brick, and much more. Swing by one of their locations in Lincoln or Omaha today and experience the Edward Stone difference, your reliable choice for over 20 years.
Ever wish you had another light switch on the other side of the room on a dark night? How much better would you sleep at night if you had a ceiling fan in your room? The High Electric Service Department is here to make your electrical what-ifs a reality. Whether you're looking to replace some outdated light fixtures or brighten up your counters with under-cabinet lighting, High Electric can handle all types of residential electrical installations and services. Give Erica a call at 402-466-6606 or visit high-electric.com to get started.
Back to the Ticket weeknights on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Welcome back to Off the Field. I'm Kendall Lanier with Nebraska Gymnastics Emma Spence. So tell me a little bit about, people have talked a lot about how gymnastics has changed over the years. Like, of course, it was a lot different, like in the 1900s. And my first Olympics I remember watching was in 2008. And how do you think just the skill level of gymnastics has changed since then, if any?
I would say that people are just pushing as far as they can in the sport. A lot of girls, their goal is to create a new skill in the sport, because if you get a new skill, it's named after you. So you see Simone Biles, she has I think it's 5 skills named after her now. She has 1 on each event. I believe it's 2 on floor, but I'm not 100% sure. But she's got multiple skills named after her. So the goal for everyone is pretty much, or most girls at the highest level are trying to get a new skill named after them. So to do that, you have to do something that no one's ever done before, which is crazy. First of all, to think about it, it's okay, what's something that I can do with my body on this piece of equipment that no one else has ever done before in a competition?
Yeah, Biles has got 5.
5.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's actually crazy.
Yeah.
And having 1 on each event is also just so crazy.
She's amazing.
Because
she's got 2 on floor, 1 on vault, 1 on beam. Which one am I missing here?
Bars.
2 on vault, 2 on floor,
yeah.
1 in beam.
Really? Yeah, that's crazy.
Crazy.
So
Love her.
Yeah, crazy. Amazing.
Yeah.
So just being able to do that is very impressive. And I think because of that and the desire to do that, people just keep coming up with different things and new skills, and they just get harder and harder. Simone Biles' skills are unreal.
Yeah.
Most
literally.
people will never be able to do them. There's no way I could do them. On any event.
Yeah, her vault.
The vault
Even
is,
she's it's so hard.
Yeah.
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 It's crazy.
Yeah. So I think that's probably why. It's just people are just pushing their limits and seeing how far they can go.
Yeah. So how do you think, starting, I guess, from your freshman year in college gymnastics has even grown a lot, just with Suni Lee going to Auburn, Jordan Childs at UCLA, and then NIL with Livy Dunn, I think you said, at LSU. So just so much, attention around not just Olympics gymnastics, but collegiate as well. So what has that been like from your perspective?
I would say the elite gymnast doing NCAA is newer. A lot of girls don't do that. Even that's something that I did, and there were only two two NCAA girls that were doing that in Canada, doing the NCAA and elite. Now there's a bunch more coming in. The girls from the last cycle in Canada are going to be trying to do NCAA and elite too. But at the time, it wasn't really normalized, and that's the same thing with the U.S. team. Even the Tokyo cycle, there weren't as many girls doing it, but you look at the Paris cycle, almost the whole Olympic team has done NCAA or
Yeah.
is going to do NCAA. So it's becoming more normalized that you can do both. You don't have to just lock in on one or the other. You're able to balance both. And that ties into NIL too, because at one point you had to make the decision whether to go pro, do all the sponsorships, or do college and NCAA gymnastics. And now you're able to do both because of NIL, which is nice. I unfortunately cannot do NIL because international students
Yes.
can't.
Yeah.
So that sucks.
What is that like? I mean, that's just so interesting to me, that rule. I mean,
Yeah.
how do you kind of deal with that with other people getting NIL? And
Not gonna lie, it is frustrating.
Yeah.
It's basically a rule with our visas because we're on a student visa. We can't be making money
Mhm.
at the same time. You can participate in NIL in your own country though, or like
Okay.
not in the US. So I have been able to do and like post NIL deals when I'm back home in Canada, which is nice, but it would be nice if I could also do it here.
Yeah.
But seeing girls um going really far in NIL, like Livy Dunn and
Yeah.
Suni Lee. All these
Mhm.
girls are making a lot of money. They're also advertising gymnastics, which is cool because
Yeah.
gymnastics was never one of those sports that were always like big in the media. But now because of NIL, it's putting gymnastics on the map, women's gymnastics specifically, which is really cool to see.
Yeah. So why was it going back a little bit? Why was it so important for you to stay with elite and NCAA when you were training for this most recent Olympics? And since most people don't do that, why did you
Mhm.
really want to, do that for yourself?
I just say the relationship that I have with the coaches here, they're really great. They understand me. They understand everything that I've been through and know how to best support me in challenging times and good times. So I knew that this was going to be tough for me overall, just trying for the next Olympics because I also didn't want to go through, I guess, that heartbreak of not making it once. I didn't want to go through that twice, which
Yeah.
I did. But I was really nervous because I
Mhm.
didn't want that to happen, or I was nervous it would happen. So the coaches understood that. They were really supportive and they've been coaching me for the last few years. So to me, it just made sense, especially with all the other support I have here, the nutrition support, the mental health support, the strength training, and the facilities. This was the best environment for me to be in, as well as being able to be with my teammates. They're very supportive and helpful throughout this whole process and throughout the NCAA season as well. So being able to work with them, I thought, and I know, put me in the best position that I could have been in. And I wouldn't have been able to have those resources if I was training back home in Canada.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like you have to be a very different type of person to make it this, far in gymnastics, just as for in terms of like who you are as a person and just like your drive and stuff like that. Is that something you've always like kind of recognized within yourself at an early age? Like,
I think so. I had my parent or my dad on the show last week, and he kind of talked about that a little bit. Um, I think I've always kind of been like a perfectionist. So in gymnastics, that's really good.
Mhm.
Because everything I did growing up, whether it was school or other sports or I don't know, anything that I did, I wanted to do it to the best that I could, the best of my abilities, and having that trait in gymnastics is really good because that's kinda what gets you to the next level is pushing yourself, working
Yeah.
hard, not cheating on the hard things, like the conditioning sucks, but if you work hard at it, it's gonna pay off. So, I guess having that mentality going into everything that I've done in gymnastics has been helpful because of that.
Yeah. How have you been able to kind of recognize who you are as a person outside of gymnastics? I know you talked about you do a lot more stuff for your mental health now, but what was that like, spending so much time in your sport, but also pouring into the Emma outside of the sport?
That also took a long time, and
Mhm.
honestly, I think COVID helped a lot because I was kind of forced to take a step back.
Mm.
I wasn't able to do gymnastics anymore for a while, so I was like, "Okay, what else can I do with my life?" Like, this
Yeah.
is all I've done for the last couple of years, so during that time, started reconnecting with some friends. It wasn't in person, but still like reaching out to other
Yeah.
people, having conversations with old friends, new friends. Um, did a lot of puzzles and just little random things like
Mhm.
that and cooking and baking that I just never really had time for. And by doing that, I was able to kind of explore that other side and see what else I like to do, what else I was passionate about. Um, and when I learned all that stuff, that's like how I'm able to apply it to my life now. And then I don't know, I'm kind of an introvert, but lately, or I guess over the last couple of years, I've tried to get out of my comfort zone and do things. So doing stuff like this,
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done a couple of years ago, but I don't know, just trying new things. I love doing this kind of stuff now, meeting
Yeah.
new people, talking to new people. Like I just met you less than an hour ago, but like we're we got
Yes,
so
like
many good conversations
right?
since then. So just kind of getting out of my comfort zone, giving things a chance because it usually does work out. I just have to like take that leap and try it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. So do you want to continue with elite, like try for the next Olympics?
Um,
Maybe
I think
TBD.
I'm gonna take it this NCAA year and
Yeah.
kind of reassess after that because I graduate in May,
Mhm.
and then I have to decide whether I retire or not.
Right.
So I think I'm gonna take it one day at a time for
Yeah.
one, and focus on this NCAA season. See how my body feels after, my mind feels, where I'm at, and kind of make that decision after that.
Yeah. So what are you most looking forward to for your senior season?
I would say just embracing everything, spending time with my teammates in the gym, outside of the gym, traveling in the hotel room, like just trying to embrace the whole college athlete experience. Like for even right now, like preseason is really hard. It's a lot of
Mhm.
workouts, a lot of training, but I'm like, you know what? Like this is the last time I'm going to do this. I'm going to embrace it and I'm going to try and make the most out of it. So I just want to make the most out of every opportunity that I have, especially when I'm competing. It could be my last year like competing
Yeah.
gymnastics ever. And it's something that I've done for so long. So just every time I put my hands up to salute, try to enjoy myself, take in the moment. And yeah, just I want to remember it as just like enjoy myself and
Mhm.
happy doing it. So that's what I want to try to do.
Yeah, I'm so excited to watch your meets this season. It's gonna be a great time. But what do you think are any like misconceptions about gymnastics? I think people just watch it on TV and give their opinions all the time. But what do you think something that people don't fully understand?
I'd say maybe the amount of conditioning required. Like some people, I'd be like, "Oh, we gotta lift." They're like, "Why you gotta lift?" And I'm like, "Well, we have to lift a lot actually, and it's just because all the little muscles that are required to do the things that we do, you have to be really strong, and you have to be strong in almost every muscle because there are different events, and different events use different muscles. So, and it's also not like bulky because you can't be super bulky or else like you're not going to be as flexible. So it's like finding that like dynamic kind of power that you need
Yeah.
for gymnastics is different because yeah, a lot of like we lift in the weight room, and a lot of people don't know that gymnasts go to the weight room.
Yeah.
Um, Another thing I would say is probably how small the beam actually is, like how skinny it is.
Mhm.
Because on TV, like yeah, it looks small, but like when you're up there was just this thing that came out that is like smaller than an iPhone width, like
Wow.
the width of the
That's
beam.
insane. Yeah.
It's tiny.
Yeah. That's so funny. So you have had a lot of different experiences just with elite, with NCAA. How do you think all those, different journeys have kind of made you who you are as a person?
I'd say they all taught me different things. The elite side has taught me probably mostly like that discipline, like lock in when you have to get things
Mhm.
done. And comparing that with the NCAA has taught me to not take things as seriously as I was because I had a problem with that. And just enjoying the moment, embracing it, celebrating the wins. And even if I don't hit a routine, you still celebrate it because you
Mhm.
still tried your best. So they both complement each other very well. And I've learned a lot doing both of them, the teamwork, working individually, traveling, all that kind of stuff. Like I've just learned so many things. And when I put them together, I've learned a lot. And I'm very grateful for those experiences because they have made me who I am now.
Yeah, definitely. What type of like mindset do you get in before you do a certain routine? Like, do you have like a little process you kind of do to lock in?
It depends on the event. I would say if it's like beam or bars, it's a little bit more like mellow,
Mhm.
but going into like vault or floor, it's like, okay, like let's go, like
Yeah.
trying to get myself hype up to like
Uh-huh.
get extra like power and energy. Cause if I'm on beam, like I gotta like I lay on the floor right before I go. Like some of the girls are on
Oh.
beam, I'm like laying on the floor trying to grab myself, like get my heart rate down.
Yeah.
So it really depends on the event. Cause like before floor, I'm like jumping up and down, like trying to get myself, I don't know, more energy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you look back, I know freshman year, you said it was so like different and just like getting through those nerves of that and to see where you are now. I mean, how like are you proud of yourself in the journey that you've kind of like taken yourself on?
Because I think now I've learned different things. I've learned like the patterns or the routines and little things that I need to do before I get on the event too,
Yeah.
which has helped me in my performance. Because before I would kind of just go out there and like go for it, but now
Yeah.
it's like okay, I know I have to calm down before this event. I need to get hyped before this event, and it's just helped me learn how to compete better. And it's also taught me so many things outside of gymnastics as well, like the time management, um, getting my school done on time, all that kind of
Yeah.
stuff, asking for help if I need help. For a while, I could be struggling and I didn't think it was okay to ask for help or
Right. Yeah.
ask if I could see a tutor or anything like that. But now I've realized like, okay, if I'm getting to a certain point, I'm super overwhelmed, I'm stressed, like that's a sign that I should probably either take a step back, do some whatever I need to do, or just ask for help. And it's okay to ask for help. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I've learned. And before I was just like, I can do it all myself. And
Yeah.
like I could, but I would be like killing myself at
Right.
the same time.
Yeah. No, I definitely get that. Well, before we go tonight, I know so many young girls look up to you, whether it's Nebraska or Canada. What's one thing you want them to take away from you, whether that's in gymnastics or outside of it?
I would say to the girls listening, just make sure you love what you're doing, whether it's gymnastics, whether it's a different sport or art or music, whatever you're doing. Just, I hope you just enjoy what you're doing and you have, just love what you do.
I love that. Yes. Thank you so much for coming. Make sure to tune in to Emma's show, Be on the Routine. And thank you so much for watching Off the Field with Kendall Lanier. We'll see you next week.
Your child was embarrassed when you arrived at their